this is Gina. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really simple crystal bracelet. This is really fast moving project, turns out really pretty, and it's very easy to make. Let me get this off so I can show it to you. This is actually a bead weaving process. We're going to use needle and thread. We're not stringing this. You can see we have double beads in between, so it balances the larger size crystals and it looks really pretty. Now this I am making with some of the beads from the Enchanted Jewels treasure bag. However, this pattern will work with any beads you want to use. It is a very basic technique that you can use with anything. You can use any size beads that you would like. Any type of bead, doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and discuss that further with the materialist portion next. Okay, for this project today, we will be using some of the crystals that were in the Deep Sea Jewels treasure bag. However, you can use any large bead that you would like. I believe these are 10mm beads. Let me measure them real quickly because I forgot. And they are 10mm beads. However, you can use anything 6mm and above for this particular design. I wouldn't really go any bigger than 10mm. You will just have to adjust the amount of beads you use to get the length that you want, depending upon the size of beads you want. So use anything 6mm to 10mm round that you have, crystal, drooks, pearls, whatever you would like. Then we're going to use some 8/0 seed beads and some 11/0 seed beads. I have Toho. This is galvanized permanent finish aluminum. And then I'm going to use one small clasp. So once you have chosen your beads, then you're going to need some thread. You can use 8 or 10 pound Nanofil, or you can use a 6-pound Fireline. That will work fine. I'm going to use a size 12 beading needle, and I'm going to put onto my needle about a wingspan of thread to start. You may need to extend your Fireline or Nanofil for this project, and if so, there will be a link for a video that will show you how to do that in the description box beneath the video player. So go ahead and put a wingspan on, and a wingspan is when you put your arms out to your sides, you measure from your fingertips on your first arm, the length of that first arm across your chest, the length of your second arm into your fingertips on that second arm. And that is a wingspan of thread. Go ahead and put that on your needle and we will get started. Okay, to start this project, we will begin by picking up 2 8/0 seed beads onto our needle and bring them down to the end of the thread. You don't have to leave a long tail, but enough to hold on to. And then you're going to go back through the first seed bead closest to the tail here. So we're just going to go through 1 8/0, and that is the one closest to your tail side, and pull your needle and thread through. And then that should lay the second bead next to the first bead. And then we are going to pick up onto our needle an 11/0. And I'm still holding onto this because it's loose, so I'm going to pick up an 11/0 and an 8/0 seed bead, and I'm going to drop it down. Bring it to my piece here. Then I'm going to grab my clasp, and I'm going to go through the loop of my clasp. Oops. And just drop it down to my piece here. I'm going to lay it out just so you can see what I've got. It's just kind of loose and funny looking. Now, I'm just going to go through that 8/0 seed bead and just the 8/0. So I'm coming through the clasp. I'm going to go through the loose 8/0 and just ignore that 11/0 and my little double stitch on the bottom there, my ladder stitch. I'm going to pull it all down so it looks like this. Now I need to add an 11/0 on the other side to balance it out. So I'm going to pick up an 11/0. And I'm going to go through the other 8/0 on the ladder stitch here. And this is what I have, a little triangle with a clasp on it. Now I'm going to sew through the entire thing twice. So I'll show you the first pass and then we'll do the second pass off camera. So I have my tail here, my working thread coming out here. I'm going to ignore the tail. I'm going to cross over, go into all 3 beads on that side. So I'm going through the 8-0, 11-0, and 8-0 and clasp, just like this. And I'm going to pull my thread through. And then I'm going to go back down into the 8-0 and go through the 11-0 and 8-0 on the other side of the little triangle from which I started, just like this. And pull these down. And that's my first pass. Go ahead and do that one more time at least. You can do it 2 more if you're really tough on your bracelets and you need a little extra security. So go ahead and sew through that again and we'll be back. Okay, so I have secured my stitch or my clasping, and now I am coming out of this bead here. I'm just going to clip my little tail down, get it out of my way. I'll leave a bit of a tag just so I can burn that in later. And right now I am going to pick up a crystal. So go ahead and pick up a crystal. I'm going to use the green one first. I'm just going to do mine kind of random colors. I might establish a pattern. That's all up to you how you want to do this. And doesn't truly matter. Just put them on in a manner of colors that you like. Then I'm going to pick up 2 8-0 seed beads onto my needle. And I'm going to go back up through the crystal. And just the crystal. I'm going to hold on to that crystal, pull my 2 8-0 seed beads down, and if you need to, just pull on that thread a little bit so you can arrange them. Keep pulling on it until these 2 little beads lay next to each other, just like this. Then you're going to pick up, or actually you're not going to pick up anything. You're going to go back through the 8-0, 11-0, and 8-0 on this side. So you're coming out of the crystal now. You're going to go up through your clasping. So really, truly, when you secure, you only have to go through one more time. I have 3 passes of thread through already, and I'm going to do this pass too to secure this crystal. So you'll have plenty of passes through. So now I'm coming all the way up and through my clasp. And now I'm going to go down the other side. So I'm going to go back into the 8-0, and then I'll go into the 2 seed beads on this side and into the crystal if I can. If not, I'll just come out of the seed beads just like this. Give a nice tight pull so that it draws those little threads in. And then we're going to go down into the crystal and up through one of the beads, one of the 8-0 seed beads down here. Oops. Sorry about that. I tangled around my scissors. So now we're coming down an 8-0 seed bead here, and we're going to pull this through. So this is what you have. Basically, we just came up through the clasping, back down through the bead, and into the 8-0 seed bead. Sorry about that drop. And then now that you have these 2 8-0 seed beads here, you can pick up another crystal. So I'm going to pick up one of my clear ones, and I'm going to drop it down and remove all this stuff so that doesn't happen again. And I'm going to pick up 2 8-0 seed beads. Now this time I'm just going to come up through this 8-0 here, not through the crystal. So I'm going to go through the crystal, and I'm going to come up through this 8-0 on this side. I'm going to pick it up and hold on to both the crystals here and pull these seed beads down, and then arrange them so they lay next to each other, just like that. Now, the important part of this is to get a nice cross of thread through to hold this nicely. So you're coming out of this 8-0 seed bead, you're going to cross over and go into the one next to it under this crystal here. So I'm going to pick this up so I can get to it better. And I'm going to go from the side at an angle, and I'm just going to go up through the crystal and through the 8-0 on this side. And then I will pull this through And this is what I have. Now we have to do that one more time because it has to be balanced on both sides. So we are going to go through each one twice. So we're going to cross over, go through this bead here, and go through the 8/0 on the other side of the crystal also. So I'm just going straight across. The beads will kind of twist and do weird things. That's okay. Just go straight across. And then cross over, go into the 8/0 on this side, down into the crystal, and then come up through one of the 8/0s on the opposite side, just like that. So now we've got a good cross of thread through. Both sides, both seed beads are anchored. Now the first two are the most difficult because it's just hard to hold on to. So I'm going to show you a couple more times and then we'll go to length. This is the entire thing here. Very easy, and it turns out really cute. So now I have picked up my next, I have finished those two crystals. I'll pick up my next crystal. So I'm going to pick up a blue crystal this time. I'm going to drop it down. Then I'm going to pick up two 8/0 seed beads. And I'm going to go back through the crystal. So I'll just hold on to the crystal, go back through it, and then I'll go back through the 8/0 next to the one I'm coming out of, just like this. I will hold on to both the crystals here. Well, I tried to, and pull this up, just like that. Usually your beads will just lay themselves out nice. If they don't, you have to kind of untwist them and play with them a little bit. Then, now that we're coming out of this 8/0 seed bead, we're going to cross over, go into this one, and then I'll go into the crystal, and I'll go into the 8/0 on the other side, just like this. Pull this down tight. And now I'm going to do one more pass through to balance everything. So I'll cross over from this 8/0 to this one, and through the crystal, and through the 8/0 on the other side. And like I said, they kind of spin and do weird things. Just try to hold on to them. Now I'm coming out here. I need to work my way back up to the top. So I'm going to cross over into the 8/0. I'm going to go through the crystal. And now that we're balanced, you can come through either one of these 8/0s. I like to cross over diagonally. It just makes me feel like I have a little bit more balance that way. It's up to you. You can come through either one. Let's do one more. So I think I'm going to pick up another clear one. And I'm going to go through it. Drop it down. Pick up two 8/0s. Go through the crystal. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go through the 8/0 right next to the one that I'm coming out of. Just anchor it all down at once. You don't have to, but you can. Now, as I pull, I've lined up my two little 8/0s on the bottom. I'm coming out of the 8/0 on the top here. I can cross over, go through the 8/0 here. And if I cannot get through the 8/0 seed beads on the bottom, I'll just come out the crystal, come up through one of the 8/0s. Or actually, on this one, I want to be coming through the one right across from where I came out originally. So either way. And then I'm going to cross over, go down through the 8/0, go down through the crystal. And since I'm pulling this tight, it was hard to get through the 8/0 from the crystal. So I'll just go through the 8/0 by itself. Now when you do this, make sure that your thread goes into the 8/0 and not wraps around the crystal and all that stuff. Now I'm through that 8/0, I can cross over and go back through to be ready for my next stitch. So I'll cross over, go into this 8/0, go straight through, and I'm trying to do it diagonal and go through that 8/0, but I don't seem to be able to get through, so I'll just go through the crystal, and then I'll go through the 8-0. Just like that. And that's all there is to that. It's a little fidgety. You have to kind of play with it a little bit as you're going through and stuff, but it's very simple and it's really cute. So we're going to continue doing this stitch with the large crystals until we have 14 crystals, or that will depend completely upon what type of bead you're using. Now, if you're using something smaller than 10 millimeter, of course, you're going to need more than 14 crystals. So what we're going to do, if you're using something bigger, of course, you're going to need less. But what we're going to do to figure out our length is we're going to measure from the middle of the toggle here to the end. Now, this is about the length that I would normally wear, about a 7 to 7.5 inch bracelet. I've made it to this length already without putting my clasping on because of the size of my beads. Because my beads are big, they're going to take up some room on my wrist, and I'm going to need a little bit of extra length to wear my bracelet. So you want to keep that in mind according to the size of your bead. So I'm showing you the length that I am making so that you can judge what length you would like. Now, normally I'm about a medium size, 7 to 7.5 inches, and a large is 8 to 8.5, and a small is 6 to 6.5. So you can judge what length you need. Then I have secured my piece, and I'm coming out of the crystal here because I didn't go up through the 8-0, so let me go up through the 8-0. So I've secured my last little bead. I'm coming out of the 8-0 here, and now we're going to put our end on. And we're going to add a little bit of extra length on this end with our clasping, simply to allow the straight end of the toggle to go through the round end easily. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up 2 11-0 seed beads and 2 8-0 seed beads, and then we're going to drop this down to the piece. Then we're going to go through the loop on the clasp and bring it down. Then we're just going to go through the 2 8-0 seed beads here. Let me get you in a little closer. So now we're just going to go through the 2 8-0s, ignoring the 2 11-0s. I'm going to bring this down, and then we're going to pick up 2 11-0 seed beads. And we're going to go through this 8-0 right here. And pull it through. And now we have a little triangular shape, but it's a little bit longer than the other side to allow some narrow room for the clasping. So now we're going to cross over and go up through this clasping one more time. So we're going to cross over into the 8-0 on this side and go up all the beads on this side. So I'm going to go through the 8-0, the 2 11-0s, and then the 2 8-0s on top of them, if I can get them. And then I'm going to go through my clasp, just like that, and pull it through. And then I'm going to go back down and go through the other side. So I'll go through the 2 8-0s, then I'll go through the 2 11-0s, and then I'll go through the 8-0 here. Now, just to make sure that this is nice and secure, we're going to go down through this crystal at this point, and then back up through and go through the clasping one more time before we knot off. So we're going to go down into this crystal, and I'm going to exit that crystal, go into the 8-0 underneath it, and pull this through. Then I will go through the 8-0 on the other side and back up through the crystal. If I can do it all at once here. Just like that. Now it's anchored to the crystal and it'll be stronger. And we're going to go up through the 8-0s, the 2 11-0s. Oops, I stabbed myself. Oopsie doopsie. So I'm going to go through the 2 11-0s, If I can get them. Geez Louise, there we go. Just like that. And then up through the 2 8/0s and through the clasp. Then back down through the 2 8/0s here. The 2 11/0s here. And the 8/0. Like that. Now, I'm going to go through this crystal and I'm going to tie off underneath. So we're going to go down through the crystal one more time. And now everything's tight. So sometimes the 8/0s get in the way. So I'm actually going to go through 2 crystals here. So I just slid straight through down to this crystal. And now I am going to go behind and through this 8/0 seed bead. Actually, let's go through the 8/0 first. Right there. And now I can go between the 2 8/0s. So I'm going behind, and I'm going to go between the 2 8/0s with my needle. I'm trying not to get the thread bridge on the other side of the 8/0s, so I want to just go right through the middle of the 2 8/0s. Come on, you. Okay, just like that. Now that I'm through those 2, I can form a loop, and then I can put my needle through it and pull a knot down right on that thread bridge, right underneath those beads. And then I can go through the next crystal, poke my needle. I think I'll go through this 8/0 first. Now that they're all together, I just keep wanting to travel down all the beads. And I don't want to. There. Okay, now I can go through those 2 8/0s again and make a loop and pull a knot down, just like that. Then I'm going to cut this down, maybe a little shorter than that. And I will get my lighter close and just melt that down into the beads. I'll back off a little bit. And that is what this little bracelet looks like. So now let's see how well the clasping works. Yeah, it slides through very easily. And that's why you want to narrow your end where the straight part is, because if it's wide, you can't go through the round portion of the toggle. So now I'm going to see if this will fit. And put it on if I can do it rather quickly. If not, I will come back with it on. Let me see. It's like a circus act trying to do this by myself. So I'll be right back. And here it is on the wrist. Really wasn't that difficult to put on. I just couldn't balance it. So this is what the clasping looks like. And this is what the entire bracelet looks like. Now I just put my beads on randomly. However, I thought it would be pretty spreading the colors out. You can do it any way you'd like. You could do all clear and then the green and then the blue, or whatever you're using. You can make a pattern. You can do whatever you'd like. But I just kind of randomly put mine on, and I think it turned out really pretty. So that's what that looks like. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you try to make one. And if you would like to subscribe, that would be fabulous. Hit the like button for me and the notification bell so we can continue making jewelry together. That would be superbulous. Anyway, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.